Broadcasting live from the backstretch at Saratoga, this is the Handicappers Report. Brought to you by CapitalOTBBet.com, the online wagering site in New York State. CapitalOTBBet.com. Sign up today. And the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. Make it to the Clubhouse Racebook.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Handicappers Report alongside Seth Merrow. I am Anthony Mormino coming to you live from the backstretch of Saratoga Race Course on a morning that will be far more manageable for the two of us to get through. Him, 3 hours. Me, I get a halftime break for 2 hours, but decidedly different from yesterday morning. And did you have rain up here last night?
Yeah, I could hear it. I was sitting working at the computer.
We had
First there was a little thunder, and then
about midnight.
That's probably about right.
Right. We had big rains in the capital area. So, gigantic thunderstorms. And then I'm doing the same thing as you. I'm working on Sunday's card, and the thunder and light. Well, the thunder was for maybe 20 minutes, and at night I kind of do it at the kitchen table, and there's a deck outside the door. I'm like, when's the rain coming? And finally, it did rain pretty good. So much cooler. I think there's a small chance, Seth.
Not cool, though. I mean, it's comfortable.
Yeah, yes. Small chance that yesterday might end up being the warmest day of the summer, and it's still spring. I mean, it was a corker yesterday. I didn't see. I knew it was going to be a nice day, but it got to be.
It did wind up being
very hot.
Yeah.
We were commenting on the end of the show.
It was sauna-like.
That second show, yeah. I've said it for years. There's probably during the 40-day meet, maybe 3 mornings when it's like it was yesterday. And I've always marveled that Seth, not only does he have to do another hour almost every single time, he's got to do the next hour as it's climbing. It doesn't usually go down for Seth. And it was hot as heck yesterday. So quick question for you. And I don't, it doesn't really mean that much, and I missed it yesterday. Mythical, the filly running against the boys, right? And the race goes like 2.5 seconds faster than the girls. What do you think the thinking was, right? Was he afraid of the rocket ship or something? Like, I don't.
Well,
did he say something after the race? Because I don't usually follow that.
I didn't see.
What do you mean? You're usually down there with the camera.
I usually am.
That's what's so.
I am not. I will admit, I am not yet.
If anybody ever wanted to assassinate Seth, just wait for the feature race stake races, and he'll come to you.
Yeah.
I see you down there. You got your camera.
Yeah, no,
but
like I said, I'm not in the rhythm yet.
Okay, but, I didn't know if he said anything because I missed it. I didn't even. That's.
But you may be because the rocket ship was a rocket ship again.
Yeah, but 2.5 seconds slower. I mean, did he realize he really had a rocket ship?
Yeah.
Geez, I have a bear, and listen. There are a few times when because I think that's another chance where there'd be an opportunity for the trainer to be honest.
Oh yeah,
and just say because. Right, the purse is the same, the distance is the same, etc. And Anna Shirley made a very common yet good point on Talking Horses, just saying that is sometimes at this time of year, the girls can be more precocious than the boys, but that wasn't the case. I mean, that was quite an effort in the Tremont. In the Astoria, if just going by raw times, a little less impressive. But.
Well, we were. I have the recap here: 103.57 versus 106.04. That's a pretty good gap.
And it also might not say much for what was behind her in the Astoria. Because I couldn't get to her, and that wasn't too fast. And the case I was looking at, another day for the newbies. You had a bomb. You had 2 long shots. You had multiple favorites. You had multiple second choices. Everything but the DQ.
Yeah, you had a $32 horse, Curlin's Angel, in the second. Then the
Hold Your Breath.
$60 horse, Hold Your Breath, and then the finale, the $29 horse. And I'll tell the folks the story I told you. Our friend Gene Kirshner for
our good friend
Buffalo News, I believe it's one of the.
That
Buffalo
sounds
papers.
Right.
He covers
and the
horse
Gazette
racing
this time of year.
Oh yeah, and he handicaps in the Gazette. But he's always at the big events, and he was sitting right beside me in the press box. And as a public handicapper, I can relate. You have these frustrating days. Before the 9th race, there was 10 yesterday. Before the 9th race, he was kind of packing up, and he turned to me. He said, "Man, first 8 races, my top pick has finished second 6 times." And so the 9th race is about to come up before he actually heads out. So he sits down to watch the 9th race. He says, "Well, I have the 2 horse here, so play the 2 to place." Sure enough, they come down the stretch. The 2 is coming like a rocket, but winds up second. I turn to him, I'm like, oh. So the first 9 races, his top pick runs second in 7 of the first 9 races. So he turns to me before he walks out, and he says, "Well, play the, was it the 6th, I believe? Play the 6 to place in this next race." And they come down the stretch, and once again, More For Sure is coming like a rocket. But it's
Perfect.
Like, and under the wire, I thought, he ran second again, but then they developed the photo, and Gene walks out with a $29 winner. So I had to text him. I said, "All you need is one if it's the right one." So he wound up the day.
I could text him, but I got to find out if our man is going to the Breeders' Cup this year.
I would assume.
Well, don't assume.
Oh, okay.
That's
well, he's been in 3 Triple Crown races.
Yeah,
I know.
I'll probably text him after in between the show. But yeah, how about that? A nice name, More For Sure. Yeah, more. That now here's one thing because of the way, and maybe we should talk about this quickly before we get to the 14 races. Is how different you and I see races. I'm not apt to have 6 or 7 horses run second.
Oh,
I'm sure that's never happened for me. I probably maybe 4 or something, but
I've
always said
I don't know if that happens for a lot of people.
I've said this before. No public handicapper has ever had more horses run last than me. I mean, that's my motto. Do you have any business? Because we have 14 today. And,
yeah, we should get to it. Let me just hit on because there is the bounty bet today. The bounty bet today will be the late pick 5 here at Saratoga. To go in for the bounty, all you have to do is take a shot with your Capital OTB bet account. Again, play via Capital OTB bet, and you're automatically in for a shot at that bounty today. Late pick 5 right here at Saratoga. Don't forget tomorrow, Clubhouse Racebook, Players Bankroll. Go in, put your name in the hat. Team gets selected. Everybody on the team will get a race to play and a little cash to play with. And then they split up the winnings at the end of the day amongst the team. And also tomorrow at the Racebook King of the Hill contest. So some fun tomorrow. Belmont Stakes Day, Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, if you're not going to be up here at the track. And also, usually I say top of the hour, but again, we're going a little bit early today. Why? 14 races and an 11:40 post time, so we want to be wrapped up by the NYRA pregame show. So we have a little bit of an abbreviated Racing Across America. We'll kick off at 9:30. Be joined by Tommy Bellhouse from West Point Thoroughbreds. They got a couple of nice runners. Tomorrow, amongst the stakes action, the grade 1 stakes action, Carson's Run and Integration. We'll get some thoughts on those two tomorrow, and then a little update on Sandman and more with Tommy. And also,
I like one.
I was
on top. I think those two you just mentioned.
But I was over doing radio with Steve Bick yesterday, and I pulled out my camera and I had him do a little handicapping for today and tomorrow. So we'll plug in. He gave some thoughts on the Acorn and the Just a Game for today. And then tomorrow we'll look at the Belmont, another race. And tomorrow I hope to have a number of handicappers take a look at some of the action for Belmont Stakes. So that'll be tomorrow. Same idea tomorrow. Handicappers Report, 8:30. Racing Across America at 9:30 with, again, 14 races tomorrow and an early start.
I don't want to hear any teasing about wearing the same clothes. We'll be taping Saturday's show later on this morning.
That. They're probably.
I had a 50-50 thought of
having a chance. I didn't even think, or I might have thought about that myself. I think I do have another.
And we'll say one thing about tomorrow. And obviously, the Kentucky Derby is America's race, but I do think tomorrow is the second best card in America, only trumped by the Saturday of the Breeders' Cup. This card today might be a top 5er also.
Pretty good.
This is a great card. We have 14.
Oh, let me also, tonight, Channel 10 WTEN, I'll be on there going to do a Belmont Stakes preview kind of a thing. And I'm pretty sure it's at 7:30 on Channel 10 WTEN. So I'll be there.
Well, if it's live, I hope you find out what time it is.
Well, yeah, you're right. Because from the text, you're right. Now, because I said I would come over. I'm going to sit here with remote. And I said I'd walk over here and be here by like 7. So it is 7:30. It's definitely 7:30.
11:40 kickoff, 7:43. It is an 8-hour workday. In my youth, I could have done it. I'm not so sure anymore. 14 races today, tomorrow. It's going to be great. Hopefully, Mother Nature does us a favor. The opener, State Bred's entry-level allowance going 6.
6, 1, 4, and 8. I'm going to put Munnings Express on top. Linda Rice trainee. Couple of starts so far. And it's not surprising to see a horse improve start 1 to start 2. But this was market improvement, start 1 to start 2. And that last race, if we can get back to that, I think has an edge on this bunch without a doubt. So I'll go there. It's Linda Rice. I think we can pair a couple of efforts together. Scarlet's Dream, though, if you want to play around with a price, I thought this horse was interesting. Cantermachi pretty good off the claim, and this one was claimed last time out. So it's a little bit of a class move that's the opposite of what I like. I love the class move, state bred allowance into an open claimer, an open conditional claimer. We're going in the reverse direction. But this horse has run with this kind in the past. And again, with Cantermachi's stats off the claim at a price, I thought this one would be interesting. Oh, and Umberto Rispoli is on. If you didn't see yesterday, pop to our YouTube channel and pull up Racing Across America from yesterday. I had Umberto Rispoli on.
I saw him, 9:58, marching right into the green room, past the green room.
He was really good, very interesting. It was fun to talk to him. And then third spot, I'll put Sassy Shenanigans. Hard to knock the record so far. He's been there in all 4 starts. Jose Ortiz jumps on board for Mike Maker, and I would expect to play her again this afternoon. 6, 1, 4, and 8.
A little different for me. I have Sassy Shenanigans on top here. I just, the cycling in, I'm thinking like a 72, 73 will win this race. I'll get to Munnings Express in a moment, but I think Sassy Shenanigans fits right into this race. A running style, be up close on it with options. Capital Gal is a double-digit horse in here that I think fits in the mix at a very attractive price. Jorge Abreu, I think Tom Morley, Miguel Clement, and Jorge Abreu have each won a race both days. They each have, I think, they're going for, 3 in a row for them. And Munnings Express, the thing that I dislike here is you get the worst of it off the 82. You almost need it to pair up. You know you're going to get killed by the price because of the stick-out number. And I think the long-term Munnings Express lies somewhere between the 59 and the 82, and that makes it competitive with other horses. But I think, we talked about it. Yes, I talk about it every time. I don't even think you're going to get 5-2 on Munnings Express in here off of that race. 4-3-6.
I'm going to be interested to see. I would put the chances to be closer to 82. You're saying somewhere in the middle.
Well, I think like a 75 or something like that, because it's just – that's a lot of disparity. Yeah. I wish I had more time.
But it's the second start, and you can see that improvement. And to me, once you get that proven in the second start, then I think you're closer to what you can expect.
Wish I had time to do that. I would enjoy that analysis.
Second race this afternoon, we are looking at maiden specials, 3-year-olds and up, fillies and mares going 7.
The 9-7-2. A lot of guesswork here with the firster. The firster I took is Lost Horizon. Chad Brown, Peter Brandt, Flavian Prat. Workouts listed. I'm on the outside. I'm into mischief. I would be very grateful for 8-1, as I am guessing. For second, Karis Chianti, Mitch Friedman's runner. If this a slop race, the debut race I'm talking about. Boy, Seth, on a fast, clear racetrack, this is the type of debut that I love. Kind of middling. High 60s, you do a little running, a real chance where the muscle regression would be limited. But I've said it before, how compartmentalized I am with sloppy efforts and mud efforts. But Karis Chianti's at 15-1 intrigues me. And then from the rail, number 2, Ragtime for Godolphin and Bill Mott, 9-7-2.
This is one of those races. Some of these horses will come out and have a chance. This is my dark horse play of the day. It's also my Capital OTB wager of the day. The wager of the day, I'm going to box up my 4 and exacta. But my top pick's number 11, 6, 3, and 8, and that is the dark horse play. Island Impressions of Saratoga, both on Broadway and downtown Saratoga. Research goes out for Bill Mott, who can have firsters ready. Constitution can certainly produce win early types, but comes out of the very nice close hatches. If you remember her, 5 grade 1s in 9 career victories and 14 starts. But more importantly, perhaps produced siblings like Tacitus, who 4th in debut, but then won the next 3 starts. Scylla, who goes today in the bed of roses, won the first 2 of her career and 5 of the first 7. I think this one could be very interesting and very live. And again, a very fun and intriguing field. Surprised the number 6. The Dam won her debut. The sibling called Fibber won the first 2 starts of the career. Hit Hindsight, another sibling, won in the second start. Coyote Road, another sibling, won the first 2. A lot of win early. Didn't quite live up to it in the debut, but now with the experience under the belt for Brad Cox, surprise is intriguing. Philly Freedom, Dam won her career debut. The Lone Racing sibling, Born Noble, won its career debut at 7 furlongs. So I thought that one was a player for Chad Brown. Absolute Honor, the 8-horse, 2 win early siblings, Sweet Soler and Tirella. Your horse, I looked at, Lost Horizon. The Dam won her first 8, albeit in Chile. So I wasn't quite sure what to make of that. The one entry I think is going to be interesting. The first are endorsed. Jace's Road was a sibling, won the career debut. It's a super intriguing field. But my dark horse play today brought to you by the Dark Horse Mercantile and Resurge. Our Capital OTB play of the day. We'll do an exacta box in here. 11, 6, 3, and 8.
We have 6 horses. We have half the field covered.
And it's that kind of a race.
Absolutely.
And I think you're going to get paid.
I'm guessing. I got a Bill Mott Godolphin horse. What was he, 12-1 from the rail? I mean, it's fun.
Yeah, and that one had there was the Dam herself. Well, Dam was 4 for 5, won the honorable miss. The siblings, however, were a little bit of a mixed bag on that one.
I think close hatches. Maybe she won the Phipps. The first year was run for $1 million. And I think even a better trivia question, Beholder finished off the board.
Oh.
I think she finished 4th, beating a length for all the money. She came east and ran her eyeballs out. Question. Yeah, but on to the 6th. We're going to sprint on the Mellon Turf Course. 3 rolls it up, optional in for 75, 2X.
And again, I haven't heard anything about the turf. It did rent, but I would think we're up. But you'll have to check that. But I note it because if you pull up the one sheet on capitalotb.com, I have dirt picks over there. This race, I stayed the same, top 2, turf or dirt. But on the turf, 3, 6, 4, and 8. We'll put Works For Me on top. Comes in off a nice seasonal debut. Just missed there. Flavian Prat sticks on board. So if this horse can pair him up, sometimes you come back, you run well. That second start's a little iffy. But I'm going to hope that this one, as I say, can pair up a couple of efforts. I think Works For Me is legit. If so, bonus move in the second spot, has plenty of early speed, was in an off the turf for last time with the early speed and getting back to the turf. I think the Mark Hennig trainee can be a player. And Run Curtis Run, Mike Maker, Joel Rosario, another one coming off of the seasonal debut that was a pretty good effort. So I'm hoping, again, we can pair a couple together. I have a 3, 6, 4, and 8.
Just mixing it up here, mostly because on balance, I think this race is highly competitive, and you're talking about 12-1 and 8-5 on the morning line. And, that's how I look at the race. And Mark Henning won with a spinning, what was her name? Spinning what? Spinning Colors. Every polo winning one with Johnny V. I don't know that we can make the front here. It wouldn't be awful from the outside once again, but I'll take bonus move here. I think the price will come down off the 12-1. I have Run Curtis Run, who is 0 for 8, but has hit the board in 7 of the turf sprints. And then Works For Me. What works for me is you usually get the worst of the price after a good off the bench race. This horse was beaten at 9-10. I think you're getting all the worst of it. 6, 4, 3.
Race number 4 on this Friday Acorn afternoon. We're looking at state bred optional claimers, non-winners of 2 other than. Again, we'll go 7 panels.
527 Army Gal is my top pick, coming off of the 1X effort. Just got beat a length for all the money. I think that sets it up well, going 7 today. 2 races back, went a mile, shortened up to 6.5. I'm actually positioning my opinion that we're looking for a career best from Army Gal in the 5th career start. Embraceable Gal, the 2, Dylan Davis. Rob Atras sends out this runner, 2nd time at this level. And for 3rd, number 7, Joe Sharp, who does excellent work out of town, sends out this runner with Kendrick Carmouche. 527.
7, 5, 8, and 2 for me. Viamonte for Joe Sharp with Kendrick on board. Comes in good form, having won the last 2, and kind of just steps up the condition. Sometimes I say it'll take a start or 2 to figure out that next condition up, but he moved through the last couple of races okay. We'll see if we can continue that. Army Gal, yeah, looks very logical for Linda Rice. Lightly raced, but is run well, and that 84 Beyer 3-back certainly kind of stands out in this group as very competitive. And then Short Shift in the 3rd spot off the claim for Brad Cox. Just, when Brad Cox, that barn plays in the claiming game, it's already very interesting. A very high first off the claim number there, and I think this one will be in the hunt, no doubt about it, regardless of that number, but that number just adds to the intrigue. The 4th today, 7, 5, 8, and 2.
We'll take our quick break. When we come back, more live for the backstretch at Saratoga.
For more than 4 generations, Bruce Cerrone and his family have continued the 103-year tradition of delighting their local following and faithful summer crowd with the finest authentic Italian recipes. Classic Italian dishes made with the freshest ingredients, served in a home-like setting. Some things have changed in the last 103 years, but not Pinnell's commitment to the finest in Italian cuisine. Pinnell's Italian Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, just minutes from the track.
Sometimes it pays to go with the flow, to check your worries at the door, to reconnect with your crew, to follow the thrills and the flavor, to roll with it and see where it takes you, to enjoy every minute to its fullest, and to dance like there's no tomorrow. You can do that here at Rivers Casino and Resort Schenectady, where the good times flow.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen.
Let me just jump in because Dino alerted me that Channel 10 special 20 is actually on the sister station. It sounds like 23, so WXXA. But tune in tonight. We'll have some Belmont thoughts.
All right, on to the 5th. Open Company in for 50 or 1X. Going 9 furlongs on the dirt.
6, 2, 5, and 10. I'm going to put Strategic Focus on top. Chad Brown and Klarovich, and as they often do, they're well met in debut, that team. I always pay attention to their runners in the debut, and this one lived up to it, and lived up to it not just for me, but for the betting public as a short-priced favorite, but did it in a solid fashion. Again, it's an ask to move another condition, but I think this horse has a chance to be a nice little runner for this group. So I'll look for this one to pair him up. Malarchuk in the 2nd spot goes out for Chad Brown. So becomes the other Chad Brown. And if you remember last summer, that was an angle to take a look at. And I wouldn't ignore that one in here with potentially a little more value. We'll see how the betting shakes out versus the morning line. Strategic Focus at 2-1, Malarchuk at 4-1. Malarchuk will definitely be a longer price than the 6, but what will we wind up with at post time? And Waitlist in the 3rd spot. Third start back off a little bit of an early season layoff from February until the middle of May. And the first couple of starts were a couple of good second place finishes for Linda Rice and Kendra Carmouche. I think on this third start back is primed for a nice effort as well. Fifth race for me, 6, 2, 5, and 10.
And you see my numbers up there. I just, one thing, Malachuk, I mean, the career debut was only 6 races ago, and that was September of 23. So there's some issues there. I have wait lists in here. I need a similar effort on hopefully a fast, clear racetrack going a distance of ground and Dreamlight. About strategic focus, who's not on my list, it's a mistake on my part. I think. Do you think there's going to be a converging of the price or a diverging between the 2 and the 6? Because I think it's going to go like this.
Do you? I think they'll both go down.
Focus is going to be 6 to 5.
Yeah, but I think Malarchuk is probably going to come down a little bit too.
I think Malarchuk is going to be about 7 to 1.
Do you really?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's Chad and
Malarchuk's numbers fit in with everybody else. Strategic Focus is a horse that this is the last stop before Graded Stakes Company. Yeah, that's just my opinion. I think it's going to be 6 to 5 and 7 to 1.
I could see the spread being similar, but both of them moving.
All right, then. So I'm 2, 5, 7 in there. It's the reason I don't have Strategic Focus mostly is I don't like horses that debut and get a 90 to repeat it. Although he's in brilliant hands, etc.
Yeah, I was about to say
the race goes through. The race goes through Strategic Focus, but I said and I also I think there was going to be 6 to 5.
Yeah,
and I rarely look up at the window, go 460, and go, oh darn, I missed that one.
6th race today, stakes action. The aforementioned Better Roses, as I said, sibling to Scylla on the undercard a little earlier in the day, but Better Roses. $300,000 up for grabs and grade 2 credentials for the Fillies and Mares going 7.
And I loved Scylla in the Breeders' Cup. I mean, I never thought I was a winner, but I loved her. I'm 3, 2, 7 in here. I'm intrigued to see if Ways and Means goes below even money. I mean, she's such a demon here. That one loss, there couldn't have been more that went wrong for her that day. She's a beast, particularly here. I think she's the horse to beat. Then I have Scylla, who is a 5-year-old mare for Juddmonte, who is just outstanding. And then for third, St. Benedict's Prep at a huge price. But to me, this is, I rarely say this, but to me, this is a 2-horse race.
And I have the same 2. It'll be interesting to see how it shakes out if we have the same 2 on top. 3, 2, 6, and 4. Ways and Means. Yeah, as you say, third last time out. Copian was the winner, and you talk about Beast Copian, so kind of a beast herself. Comes off that sloppy track debut effort back on Derby weekend. So we'll look for this one to be even tighter. And did it with a triple-digit buyer. Comes in with a bullet work. Ways and Means on top. Scylla in the second spot. Talented runner for Juddmonte. And Bill Mott, 5 wins and 3 seconds in 11 career starts. So has shown plenty of talent. I'm going to look for this one to move forward in the second start of the season. And Miss Justify for Todd Pletcher, I think, can be interesting. Starting the season with a nice little win in optional claiming company, but does have stakes on the resume and good stakes performances, so she could be interesting a little bit of a price. I have a 3, 2, 6, and 4.
Now I have a question before you turn the page because I want you to be able to look at her. I know she won the Grade 1 test. Both of one of our favorite races in the world. Do you think Ways and Means has slightly underperformed off of that debut?
With these connections, I would slightly is probably the word.
And the reason I say is because when she won, you had many of us thought the sky was the limit. I mean, that she had really turned in a special debut race. And I mean, she's won the test. So I mean, and she had all kinds of trouble to spit away, but you're kind of thinking that, maybe, my fault. I set the bar too high, but I just, and because my thinking is this her year as a 4-year-old? Mm-hmm. It didn't work out as a 2-year-old. I think big picture 3-year-old, I'm not so sure it worked out. You know, I just wonder.
I think the 2-year-old season was fine, but I think out of that 2-year-old season, you maybe expected a little bit. Again, she ran very well.
Yes,
3-year-old,
no
no question
about
it. But with these connections, as you say, slightly maybe.
Because as I maybe I'm wrong here too, but when she debuted, didn't we kind of think that was like the best 2-year-old filly Chad had sent out on the dirt? Like, there you go.
Good look.
Okay, on to the 7th race. Optional claim of fillies and mares. Mile and 16th on the inner. We'll see. See horses working out. We have 2 grade 1s on the turf courses today, so we'll see.
3, 4, 6, and 11 mystifying on top for Shug and the Phipps. There's a pairing from the past, certainly.
Can't be many left.
Couple of turf races on the resume after 2 starts on the dirt. The debut effort was very good. Very good. It was a win. You always have to consider a win in debut as being impressive. The follow-up, not so much on the dirt. Those were both last year. Ended the season last year at the end of this meet, moving to the turf and ran very well, and then started this season at Keeneland on the turf and ran very well. So again, I think on the turf again this afternoon, what we've seen so far being lightly raced, but showing plenty of talent, mystifying on top. Royalty Rate in the 2nd spot. Chad and Klarovich runner, again, won the career debut. The number's a little light. This one's interesting to me because it's Chad and Klarovich won the career debut. You always have to like that. Irad Ortiz for Chad Brown. 8-1. And I think with the number, I don't know if they'll get 8, but I think we'll get a decent price on a Royalty Rate. And with these connections, I'm willing to throw that one in. And Big Beautiful in the 3rd spot. Tony Dutrow winning the finale yesterday. Let's see if he can keep on the roll here with a horse who started the season with a very, very good win. And had a little bit of a break early in the season, but came back early in May and put in that good win. And I think off of that contends here 3, 4, 6, and 11.
Look at this. Like, we're at almost halftime of the show. We're almost at halftime of the races.
Perfect.
In the 7th. I think this is an example of how good this card is. I think this is a terrific race.
Yeah,
I mean, high level, terrific for entry level allowance. Just to see the black cherry cap for a family that has done so much for racing, and I think it's fair to say clearly dwindling down. I mean, it's they had that horse in South Florida, the turfer, last year or 2 years ago. They just don't have, they're just getting out of the game. I'd like to see Mystifying find the winner's circle, so I have it on top also. And it goes to show you, the horse debuts and wins, and then it's fair to say something went wrong on the Ides of March. But you come back and you're like, well, let's try the turf. And, no wins, but 2 very good efforts. A Hope Mission, a big price from the rail at 18 feet. You get that good position like 2 races back at the fairgrounds. Life can be made easier at 15-1. And then first time United States, number 7, Louise Proctor, in a race that I think is wide open. I probably should have taken a 2-1 shot on the morning line on top, but a terrifically competitive race, I feel.
We turn the page, and race number 8 today starts out another one of a number of pick 4s on the card. We're going to go a mile and a 16th on the grass, and race number 8 for maiden specials.
On the other turf course, 9-11. I wouldn't be surprised if we have 6 different numbers up here. We don't. We paired up the 11. Okay. Solutions, my top pick for David Dong. This is I love the debut race. And it was 6 furlongs on the dirt, and we're now going to turf. We have More Than Ready on the bottom side. That's middle distance turf for me. Medaglia d'Oro on the top side is Grandsire. I will always fall into this trap. I don't mind it so much because we're 12-1 on the morning line, but that debut race, and then to get here from a very sharp trainer, and just to let you know, and this is going back to 27 years ago, this is the Incurable Optimist trilogy, owner, trainer, and jockey. I see David is also listed as owner in here. The 11 for Bill Mott, my second pick. Love the debut race, going a mile down at Aqueduct and for 3rd. Scheduled to break for the number 8 post position. I would not take a short price in this field. Asbury Park, 9-11-1.
And excuse my rudely looking away to the computer, but I was checking the Twitter logicals, and there is no word yet on turf or scratches. Obviously, scratches with the early
I would
post time,
say
scratches will be coming up shortly.
What the problem for us, Seth, is that we moved our show up early. We are the Handicappers Report is outside the window of the scratches.
Yeah,
the scratches.
But usually the turf position is
yeah.
usually made.
Well, one of the problems they have is they have 2 grade 1s. They're using both turf courses, so you could bet strongly that they're staying.
Last updated at 8:42. Now I'm right on the NYRA page. At this point, they're still on the turf according to the NYRA page. So,
and that's a good thing.
I'm looking if there's I don't see a condition. But, so. But again, that's not official. That's just.
Is it supposed to rain more today locally?
8:42. Yesterday, people were coming up to me and changing the forecast all day long.
I think we're, it's.
All right, being told that maybe
3-ish
mid afternoon possible.
Which, by the way, is a bad time.
Yeah. No. 8th race today at Saratoga. Maiden Specials, mile on the 16th.
I apologize. I already spoke to this.
Oh, you did it? And then you threw it back to
Asbury Park. And I was going to comment that rare for you, not rare for me. You left off the 6-5 entry.
You talked about
that's not uncommon for me.
Well, I did not do. I have not looked at mine. I was referring to, as I say, the computer. 6, 11, 10, and 1 for me. If the 13 gets in and it's first on the AE list, if that one gets in, take a look. But I put Tom Collins on top, Shug McGahee trainee, Irad Ortiz on board. Now, this had 7 tries and hasn't gotten it done. In these kind of races, you don't want too much experience, but I think this horse has the possibility to be finding a crew today to maybe break through with. Coolapat, the number 11 horse, seemed to move forward. Not seemed. I mean, I think you can look at the numbers of performance, move forward with the move to the grass for Bill Mott. So I'll look for more of that today. And Ritico in the 3rd spot. Like the top pick, has had 8 starts, hasn't gotten it done. But the way this horse is running, and as you mentioned earlier, Tom Morley, nice little meet so far. So we'll see if that can continue in this race as well. The 8th race, 6, 11, 10, and 1.
Friday afternoon with multiple grade 1s. How good is it get? We'll take a quick break. When we come back, more from the spot.
There's no better time to think DePaula and buy DePaula. Just visit, call, or click. Get no worry pricing and 000 savings on every new Chevy car, truck, and SUV. Delivering value since 1980. DePaulaChevrolet.com.
It only takes one upset to make history, and now you can be part of Saratoga's long tradition at the Dark Horse Mercantile. The Dark Horse Mercantile offers a carefully curated selection of clothing, gifts, and home decor, from one-of-a-kind vintage racing memorabilia to select brands like Barber and Under Armour, as well as exclusive Dark Horse branded merchandise. So celebrate the Dark Horse in all of us at the Dark Horse Mercantile, downtown Saratoga, where the smart bet is always the Dark Horse.
A day at the track isn't complete without a night at the Horseshoe. Great food, hot music, and cold drinks. So why go downtown when all the action's just across from the track? The Horseshoe Inn at the corner of Nelson and Gridley.
There's no better time to think DePaula and buy DePaula. Just visit, call, or click. Get no worry pricing and 000 savings on every new Chevy car, truck, and SUV. Delivering value since 1980. DePaulaChevrolet.com.
Haven't signed up for a Capital OTB account yet? Now's the time to take advantage of the sign-up bonus. Open up a new account with $200 or more, bet $400 by the end of the month, and receive a bonus $200 into your account. Plus, you can take advantage of everything an OTB account has to offer. Wagering from any device, live streaming, racing info, past performances, online promotions, and more. Sign up today and take advantage of the new account bonus. Details at capitalotb.com.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Just saying off the air that I've said before the show to Seth that in Europe, where they have these like pop-up meets and everything for, I don't know, some are probably as brief as maybe 2 days, but they, to 8 days. I love this week. I'm gonna miss it when we no longer have it. It's awesome.
Your comparison to Europe, I thought that was
it's like
maybe we should Royal Belmont,
very good, very good. I didn't come up with that. Ninth race on the card. Talked about the family earlier, but the Ogden Phipps, they were always very, very protective of their fillies, and they renamed the Hempstead a generation ago for Mr. Phipps. Grade 1, 9 furlongs on the dirt.
Yeah, Sean Clancy was in the other day talking about his runner in the jump race awakened out of daydreaming. And he was saying, yeah, you get that Phipps blood. We were talking about him acquiring the horse to move to his River D stable. And he was saying, you get one of those with the Phipps breeding. You can't.
A quick funny story. Years ago, I'm talking 35 plus years ago, when they dropped a colt into the claiming races, which didn't happen very often, they always cut them. Oh. You couldn't get the blood. You could have the horse, but you didn't get the blood.
Interesting. I have 7, 4, 6, and 5 randomized on top in what I think is a really competitive, nice field of fillies and mares. But I look back at last year's Phipps, where randomized got it done for Chad Brown and Klarovich. Now, this year has had the one start in the La Troyenne, finished behind Raging Sea. But again, you can do worse than go for the longer half of the uncoupled Chad entry. I have Raging Sea right underneath. Another horse who's run well up here at Saratoga, albeit last year ran 4th behind randomized in the Phipps. So I'm looking for, again, randomized to follow up from last year. Tarifa in the 3rd spot. Nice little second place finish last time in a graded stake down at Keeneland. Brings this one in good form. And Candy, I thought was a nice little winner in the DuPont, getting a little bit of maybe a, confidence builder in there, and that they turn right around and come up here. Says Candy could be intriguing as well. 7, 4, 6, and 5.
I cut a couple thoughts here. Randomized at 92 would be extremely attractive. I guess you could look at this race for an hour or two if you'd like. There's 4 major players in here, maybe 5 if you like Leslie's Rose, searching back for the Ashland type. But Tarifa, for me, the angle for me is just kind of really set the same thing with Sovereignty, which is I like the big effort off the bench. I come to expect the regression, and then I expect the push forward when they're good horses. And I think I'm going to get the better end of the deal because I think they're betting randomized much more than my horse. So 6, 7, 4 in the Grade 1 Ogden Phipps.
Yeah, and I mentioned the confidence builder. I had Aaron Wellman from Eclipse Thoroughbred Partners in on Wednesday, and he said that's exactly what they're shooting for down at Pimlico. And
absolutely.
Mission accomplished. 10th race here at Saratoga this afternoon. The Belmont Gold Cup. Maybe let them come out of the gate, go get a hot dog, come back, get in your seat, watch the end of the race, because they are vying for 2 miles in here. Grade 2 event. And again, it's race number 10.
Now, here's what I don't get. How come there's no track configuration? This goes to show you where there's not a human involved. It's easy. The 1 mile loop twice. You don't have to reinvent it. This is the loop.
I'll be honest. I can never figure out why there isn't. I mean, this isn't the only race ever.
No.
As you look through various tracks, it's like all somebody has to do is look.
Just put the 1 mile configuration and say 2 times. I know these are so rare in our sport, and they can get goofy. It's kind of like, to me, Seth, the equivalent of, how do you get traffic trouble in a 4-horse field? But it seems to happen more than you might think proportionally should happen. And pace, which I'm a big believer of, 4 turns. It's like, Angle File for me is my top pick. It is an opinion that I like in a race that has so many unique variables to it. I mean, I don't care if you've run 1.5 mile, 1.3 races. are you going to get the 2 miles? It's a real question. So get a price. Limited liability for second is the chalk for McGahee and Stuart Janney. And then Grand Sonata, who I probably should reach and put higher because of the price. But I think on balance, not only is it a tough race to handicap, which I enjoy, it's very evenly balanced in my opinion.
And I like these races. I mean, when I first got into the game, they were far more marathonish kind of races.
Isn't the old idea was cup races had to be at least 2 miles, right?
I think you're right. Yeah.
That was the thing.
And I went with limited liability because, again, this one's a kind of proven at the distance. Ran a near miss third in this race last year. So, has shown a little bit of ability at the 2 miles. Anglophile, certainly a marathon runner, given the distance of the races and, what we currently look at as the marathon these days. But certainly coming off the last 2 improving performances, makes that one playable. And Grand Sonata in the third spot. Tried a 1.5 miles last time in the Elkhorn and was behind a couple others in this race. But you go 2 back in the Gulfstream race at the beginning of March, we just missed at 1 3/8 miles. So again, kind of proven at a distance as well. In the 10th, the Belmont Gold Cup, 3, 5, 8, and 9.
Our boss and our director is going, how come Mormino is tight on time for 9 races, but for 14 he's going to make it by a mile?
I think we're going to be.
We're going to be fine.
We're going to another commercial. No, I think we're going to bang right on the button
and continue with the grade 1 3-year-old fillies going 1 1/8 miles in the Acorn.
2, 4, 5, and 6. I couldn't get past Good Cheer. I mean, she's just been phenomenal. 7 for 7. How do you knock that? The Kentucky Oaks was phenomenal. That was after being on that 3-year-old filly trail down at the fairgrounds. Rachel Alexandra and Fairground Oaks. That was after an undefeated 2-year-old season. And if she comes out and she's Good Cheer, unless something crazy happens, I can't get past that one. But Shred the Gnar, I think a little bit interesting for Brian Lynch. Lightly raced. Last couple of efforts were pretty good, including the 1 16 mile try at Churchill last time with nice improving numbers. And I don't think really has to go forward at all off the last couple to be squarely in the thick of things here. And then bless the broken in the third spot for Will Walden. Nice little stakes win at Turfway 2 back, then came over and tried the Kentucky Oaks last time. Closing effort that got this one up for third. I would think is going to be a player in the group again this afternoon, but I have a 2, 4, 5, and 6.
What I'm going to add to, you see my picks there. I don't have a lot to say this, except a couple pivotal things, I think. What amazes me about Good Cheer, and trust me, I've been taken to the woodshed trying to beat her, is not only her non-scintillating buyers, but she wins by daylight all the time with, and I should say, non-scintillating buyers for the level she's running in. But she wins clearly. So I think that's about what's behind her. Because once again, I think this race is closer than 1 to 2 on the morning line would indicate. I agree with you. Shred the Gnar was really close to being my top pick, off of the 2-turn race. But LaCara, I just don't think I was that wrong in the Kentucky Oaks, a wet, fast, sealed racetrack. That's a lot of variables for me. And, I think we know who Good Cheer is. Besides being 7 for 7, she might run a 93 today, but probably not much higher than that. I think it's an intriguing race, and I don't think it's as one of those. I don't think it's as easy as the 1 to 2 shot says. And I almost feel bad I put her on top, but she's undefeated. She wins by daylight all the time.
I may regret not. I've been on LaCara for going back to the Tampa race, and I was on board her the last 3 starts, and I may regret not having that one in the mix.
I think the connotations when you say enigma are negative, but I want to say that I find, for me, the enigma of Good Cheer is a compliment and a positive. I mean, she amazes me, befuddles me, keep on keeping on. But like I said, I'm not going to look up and go, oh boy, 280. I mean,
12th race today, the New York. They're on the grass again, mile and 3/16 for the Fillies and Mares.
And this is on the Mellon turf course. They started up at the top based on the configuration. Grade ones continue. I'm 186. Seth is, different. She feels pretty. I can only take so many odds-on horses in a day, and I already took it. So I had to go Forever After All, who's down inside. Traffic, I'm not that worried about. Just settle in and take our chances to run down the 3 to 5 shot, making the second start of the year after a brilliant comeback in the Modesty. I'm looking for some regression. I'm looking for number one, Forever After All. So it sounds almost redundant, to just go forward. I think they're closer to competitive than 3 to 5 and 10 to 1, and then the 6, 186.
861 for me. She feels pretty going out for Cherie DeVoe off a nice season ender in the American Oaks out in Southern California to end the 3-year-old season, then comes back Derby weekend with the stakes win to kick off the 4-year-old season, and she just has plenty of talent. Cherie DeVoe been going so well now for a couple of seasons. Put that one on top. Belisa in the second spot comes over from Europe and gets a nice win for Christophe Clement, now under the care of Miguel. And I think she did it in a fashion that says she has to be paid attention to today. Boy, if you get 8 to 1, take an extra look, and then Forever After All at 10 to 1 with Irad on board for Brendan Walsh after him riding a nice stakes win at Keeneland in the last start. Fun racing here, but some nice fillies and mares on the turf. 8, 6, 1, and 7.
Take a quick break. When we come back, the late Daily Double.
For more than 4 generations, Bruce Cerrone and his family have continued the 103-year tradition of delighting their local following and faithful summer crowd with the finest authentic Italian recipes. Classic Italian dishes made with the freshest ingredients, served in a home-like setting. Some things have changed in the last 103 years, but not Pinnell's commitment to the finest in Italian cuisine. Pinnell's Italian Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, just minutes from the track.
Want to get your career in horse racing off to a fast start? Well, the University of Arizona's Racetrack Industry Program is your winning ticket. The Racetrack Industry Program has served as a springboard to some of the industry's most successful individuals, with a proven track record of job placement right out of college. If you want to earn a degree in the exciting horse racing industry, the Racetrack Industry Program can put you in the winner's circle.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I was looking up something. They are displaying no rails for the New York and the Just a Game. I don't know if that's going to happen because they're listing the rails for the others. But this is an example where I really wish for the grade ones and for the future, the rails, there were no rails. But the Just a Game, which is involved into one of the world's great mile races for the fillies and mares.
Yeah, I'm looking. The NYRA site says inner set at 18 feet, Mellon set at 18 feet.
Yeah, I believe that.
The middle of the day.
No, they for whatever system is in the form.
Yeah,
it happens with some frequency, and I wouldn't expect it to. No, my thought was that the rails would come down today. You have two grade one races. You're not coming back for a month, so that was me.
1, 8, 9, and 5. I'm really intrigued today to take a little pop with dynamic pricing at 12 to 1 on the morning line. Chad Brown, Chad and Klarovich comes in off a seasonal debut victory, and again becomes kind of the other Chad Brown in here at the longer price. But I think this horse has some talent coming out of that seasonal debut with a lifetime best buyer. I think this horse is very playable in here at a really nice price, obviously. Excellent Truth, Chad Brown, and John Stewart's Resolute Race. Oh, man, he'll have a chance to win his self-named race. This is the Resolute Racing just a game. But John Stewart, if you're not familiar, has become a player in the game over the past year and a half as an owner. Did you see the Netflix? I haven't seen it, but I guess he is prominent amongst a number of the owners.
I know what he is prominent with, the biggest Twitter debate in the universe.
Well, now I'm wondering if doesn't play into the Netflix a little. Once I realized there was something tied in, it became a little less kind of thought, I wonder if they're playing that up a little bit. But anyway, comes in off a nice United States debut, close-up second in the Jenny Wiley. I think can benefit from that. Winning the Jenny Wiley was the number 9 horse. And off of that effort, I think this European is also a player in here. Kehoe Beach for Wesley Ward, I think could be very intriguing as well. I'm going to take a shot, though, as they say, with a little bit of a price. If it holds up, dynamic pricing, I have it 1, 8, 9, and 5.
Seth, I have one horse in here that I wouldn't say it publicly, but I would say can't win. I have everybody else live. Now I'm taking a flyer with a European that hasn't run in the United States, but just on general principles over the last 40 years. So special one at double-digit odds for Brendan Walsh is my top pick. Down inside the 2-3-8, a great horse race in here.
Yeah, and again,
they're all live for me but one.
Yeah, it's
terrific.
Race. All right, 7:43 scheduled post time for the finale today. Race number 14, State Bred Maiden Specials. 7.
I should just be finishing dessert. 6-12-14 for me, and for those who are live in the horizontals, good luck. I mustn't live with migraines, but hit the post, making the seasonal debut, 4th career start, listed first time Lasix, first time gelding, an offspring of Cantheros. I like the career debut. Just come back to that with a little improvement. Counter Move, who's already lost at 7-10 twice, is my second pick under, though, you notice. And then Poppy's Ticket, who I love that career debut, was bet, so people thought there was something to it. And you lose the bet, but you see some ability. You move forward. But 6 with the bomb, 12 and 14.
I'm 12, 14, 5 and 2. I like Counter Move. George Weaver trainee that has shown plenty of ability so far, and with numbers and improving numbers that kind of tout that one is very interesting. In your Poppy's Ticket, as you say, Chris Engelhardt trainee off a debut effort that looks like a foundation to build from. Mozambique, a couple of nice improving efforts for Linda Rice. Should have that one primed on the comeback now as a 3-year-old. This is the kind I always talk about. Show a little ability in a lately raced 2-year-old career. They get a little bit of a break. They can come back improved, and that may be touted by the Bullet workout. I will say, rooting for our friend Roddy Valente with Coach Patino in here debuting. So that one is intriguing as well. But I have it 12, 14, 5, and 2.
All right. That wraps up the early edition of the Handicappers, which we will be back in. Are we doing it at 8 or 8:30? Although they're doing it.
I think it's the same
thing.
It's
going to be 8:30 tomorrow morning. So in 23 hours, the Belmont Stakes special edition of the Handicappers Report. He stays. I go for a little respite. Up next, Racing Across America.
This has been the Handicappers Report, brought to you by CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier online wagering site in New York State. CapitalOTBBet.com. Sign up today. And the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. Make it to the Clubhouse Racebook.